Disappointed with the way the game turned out last week. I thought we played really well in the first half. I mean, probably was good. We had that turnover, but we took the second-ranked rushing defense in America, and we had 142 yards offense on it in the first half and 81 yards rushing in the first half. Controlled the game, the ball for 18 minutes and 30 seconds, and allowed 0 points, and probably played 30 minutes of some of our best football we played through the season. Of course, we all know that coming out of the halftime, we probably played the worst 15 minutes of football that we played all season. And that's what it was. As I explained to our team, I said, we played such a tremendous 30 minutes of ball, and then in 15 minutes, the third period, can't count, the fourth is just irrelevant at this point because we're out of it. But that 15 minutes of ball, they took the ball, went 80 yards for a touchdown. We responded with 2 first downs. We punted, put them down on the 10-yard line. Then they went 90 yards for a touchdown. We took the ball and we had a couple of good series there and got it across midfield and then to like the 45-yard line. Then we throw an interception. They return it back across midfield, score on the next possession. That's 21 points in a fairly short period of time. We're now from 10-0, it's 21-10. And really at that point, that was the turning point of that football game. Of course, we added insult to injury by getting a punt blocked and fumbling a ball that gets scooped and scored for a touchdown. And of course, at the end, it appears as though, well, you look at a score and you say Temple just got annihilated today, but that's not really what happened there. I think those of you that were there and saw the game saw a young football team show up and play remarkably hard and actually pretty good, if you take away the fact that we fumbled 4th and inches. But even with that, pretty darn good football. And then, of course, you saw the flip of us. You saw that a veteran team come out and make plays and play at their very, very best, and you saw us not do that. And so that's part of that roller coaster sometimes that I talk about with you when I come in here and meet with you, that showed up. And, we got to work real hard to take those valleys out of there. I don't think it should be that extreme, but I also know that that's, part of where we are right now. You see the really good, and you see a little bit of that bad right there. And the future looks great because you can see what we can do, but you can also see what we can do, so to speak. And that's you, My hat's off to Rutgers because that was a veteran football team that had to come out and they had to go. Now, it's not like they gave us the first half either. It wasn't like it was scooped up. We had to earn it, but they bowed up and played their very best football in the third period. We're not quite ready to be able to do that yet. It's going to be, we can't just call it up like that right now. And that's what happened in the game. That's the reality of it. And I said that to the team. You don't want to ever talk about being encouraged by a loss, and that wouldn't come out of my mouth. But what you have to point out when you're developing your growing is they have to be able to see what was good, what was bad, and try to fix and correct and improve what was bad. There was more good than bad. Really bad for 15 minutes, really good for 30. But it doesn't matter in the end. In the end, you lose the football game. Okay? Now, can we make that 30, 45? That's what we're trying to get done right now. And as we push forward to the next week, we're 3-3. 3-3. Got a chance to go play Pittsburgh, really good football team. Got a chance to be 4-3. And that's what our focus has got to be on. Pitt is returning 8 starters on offense. The quarterback, Tino Sensori's a coach's son. He's talk about a guy that's been through it now. That guy's been through it. He's gritty, he's tough, he's weathered. He stands in there and takes some shots, delivers some shots, and he's a gritty quarterback. He's playing real well right now. You got Ray Graham and Shell, the 2 running backs, exceptional players. Exceptional players. They're big hitters. You got wide receiver Devin Street. I think he's number 15. I think he's an outstanding football player. And their offensive line has played and started a bunch of games together. So they've got a veteran offense with some playmakers and a quarterback that's pretty. I don't know if he's a 4th or 5th year senior, but he's an experienced guy in there. So consequently, I think they're really good on offense, and I think as they've shown, they're highly capable of moving the ball and putting points up on the board. On defense, they've got 4 returning starters. They've got some guys in there. Jared Holley and Shane Gordon. They've got some good players. They're stout, they're big. You're going to see a big defensive front. And I think they're going to play really hard and physical. I think two teams, are probably, not terribly far apart from each other. Both want to run the ball. Both want to throw play action. Both want to try to stop the run. So you're going to see that. I think the good news with us is, I know we have played some outstanding defenses. Maryland's considered one of the top defenses in the ACC right now. Penn State's one of the top defenses in the Big Ten. Rutgers was the number 2 rushing defense in America. Connecticut was one of the top 6, I think, in the country. So we have played some people, and that's a good thing. So it's not like we should be shocked, but we have to go play. And we've got to stay healthy. We've got to learn. Now we're into the middle of the season, and we have to learn how to weather some of the stuff you have to weather, which is we played 2 real emotional games that we won. Then we played a 3rd emotional game that we had such a swing that in itself is emotional, okay? And we've got to come back now, go on the road, and go win a football game, And that'll be a challenge for us. When you take a young team on the road like this, we have to go on the road and accomplish that, and we have to accomplish overcoming some adversity and some roller coaster emotions. We've got to do that. This will be a great challenge for us. If we do, it'll be a great step forward. So looking forward to the contest. Anything?
Are they a tricky team to figure out, Steve? Because Paul's in the first year of trying to implement his program, and 1 week they've looked great against Virginia Tech, the next week they struggle. But like you said, on the flip side of it, they can change the game in a hurry with Graham and Shell. When you see, have you watched as much film on them as anyone else, because they've kind of been up and down, up and down?
I've watched them a lot. They've had some injuries. They've had some things that have probably altered some of the things they wanted to do. They're older than us. They have more veteran players than we do. But I'm sure, first year in the program, some injuries and things. They've had some roller coasters in there. But I think that, he's getting himself tracked and getting his program tracked. They got some really good football players on that football team, and I think Paul's a great coach. He's a guy. He gets it, man. Play great defense, be able to run the football, hit some play action. You're gonna have to go earn that game, And I got a lot of respect for him. I got a lot of respect for Pittsburgh and their program, their tradition. Go and play them in their stadium. Don't minimize that. That's really prideful to them in Pittsburgh. So, and it's going to be quite a challenge.
I know every game is important and all, but to get to 6 to be bowl eligible, how key is this?
Well, obviously every game is key. Is one game a make it or break it? I don't think you're at that point in the season where you have to say that, but certainly, you got to have that mindset. Just momentum. To have the ability to go try to get 4 wins here and be 4-3 is not bad. It's pretty good momentum. But I told you guys before, I really feel this way. Maybe you could see it in my demeanor over the weeks, but we just have to take every game and go after every game. And we can't afford to ride that like that. If you say, I must win here, I don't think we can do that. I just think you say to yourself, okay, we're going to go out here and play as hard as we can. Let's go get us a win today. And don't over or undervalue it. Just go. Just go. And we're too young to handle that. If you had a more veteran team, I think you got to put that right at them like that. I think when you have a young team, you just got to look at it as, let's go play the best game we can play. Let's have a great week of preparation. And don't over or undervalue any one single contest. Just let's go get it, man. That's kind of my mindset with this. That's how I feel.
How was Chris responding?
When you're a young team, is it hard to put those 15 minutes behind you, or is it like because they're young, maybe?
Not sure. I'm really not sure. That's a good question. I think sometimes you just don't know. You don't know. I can tell you this. They had a hell of a day out here today. I was like, wow, these guys practice now. There was some popping going on out there. So, it leads you to believe that, they really like football, They're not too, sometimes when you're older, you ride it a little bit, it's like, sometimes when you're younger, it can be good and bad, They can more easily, I think, go to the next game. but that doesn't mean your consistency is going to be any better. You know, you're just striving for it right now. But I tell you this before, I like being around a football team like that. I just like the football team because you know, they like football, you know, and they just when you know you get frustrated, they you know they do some phenomenal things, you know, and you're like, wow, look at this, you know. But you know, we're going into Game 7. I'm concerned the fact that we need, you know, the early bye weeks were good, but we're going to get in this. You're getting this part of the season. It's physically demanding and it's mentally demanding, and it concerns me.
How did Chris respond this week? He was pretty contrite after the game and said, you know, I can't turn the ball over, and he was well aware of the mistakes. I mean, how has he responded?
Well, he's a mature guy. I mean, that's a guy that, you know, he understands. I mean, no, he can't turn the ball over. You know, if we don't take care of the football, we have no chance. And you know, he knows that he has to play better. And you know, but he too had some really good moments in that game. Now he did some really good things, and but we can't. I mean, can't turn the ball over. We don't have that margin of error. So I think he's got a great attitude. I think he's got the right mindset. Just like, let's go, let's get to work. You know, it's not an ego thing or anything.
What do you see from your outside receivers? Because Jalen's been your most consistent receiver. A lot of times he's coming out of the slot. A lot of times maybe Dion, maybe even some of the younger guys like Deloach, they're just a step away from making that big play down the line. What are you seeing from those guys in practice?
Every week it's like, you know, just a little bit. I mean, I think Jalen's a guy that needs to get his hands on the ball more. You know, I mean, you see moments where, like, I mean, Chris threw two, you know, they're not long balls, but two really great nakeds. We just dropped them, you know what I mean? And the kid put the ball right on the money, you know. And then it's just we're not quite gelled up, you know. We gotta get more consistent. Consistency is a problem right now, you know, and it is as a unit, and it is as a team. That's why you're seeing some really good moments, and then you're seeing some ugly moments. And really, the 15 minutes we talked about really was a reflection of three phases having those moments at the same time. And that's when it, for us, not good, you know. But we've seen, without question, along the way, one or two of those phases having those moments. And it's caused us to look kind of erratic. Anybody else? Harry?
The loss of Matt Brown over the past couple games, offensively on special teams, do you think that really hurts you more than you would think?
Well, it hurt us on special teams. You know, he didn't have the same burst. Here's a couple times he got tripped up, and that's not Matt Brown now. But he just didn't. He, like he said, Coach, I just can't. You couldn't push. You can't push off. You know, and that's for a guy. You know, his whole thing is his fast, quick first step. You know, he lost that. It's very frustrating for him right now. Oh, sure, we miss him. I mean, he's a big hitter. You know, I mean, when you're in a situation where you need every playmaker you have, it's hard to lose a playmaker. You know. Just like on defense, it's hard. You know, it's hard when you lose Vaughn Caraway. He's one of our playmakers on defense. But that's football, man. You know, I mean, everyone's now. I read the other day that Maryland lost their quarterback. You know, it's happening all over the place. You know, you get in these weeks. Some teams can absorb it better than others. We will not be able to afford to take too many hits. When we get a hit, it has a, what's the right word, reverberating effect. You know what I mean? Some teams can absorb it a little bit better. Everyone hurts when they lose a good player, but some guys, you know, some programs are a little deeper, a little older, and they can absorb. We can't, you know, we can't. I would suspect it's hard on Maryland too. You know, I mean, it's just that's where you are right now. So, Matt Brown, does it hurt us? Absolutely, absolutely. But he's not out for the season. He's getting better every day, and you just, you know, grateful for that.
Just in terms of the special teams, but like. He gets to the edge as fast as anybody, maybe in the conference, and that's the dimension now that you are without.
Yep.
And it allows teams to concentrate maybe on one guy instead of having to worry about two guys.
Yeah. Well, it's getting the perimeter for us is more of a challenge than it was, and so now they play more in the box, and you know, we're young up front too, so you know you're hoping that you can spread the field in the run game, make them defend the whole field in the run game, and helps your run game a little bit. Another mechanism, of course, is to start throwing the ball. You can spread the field that way, but that isn't necessarily our strength. So those are the limitations you have. my thing is, let's get the ball in the best playmakers that we have available. I think, we've all kind of felt like, Jalen's a guy that would probably need to find a way to get more involved, especially as Matt's making his way back in various different ways that we can do that. And so we're constantly trying to tinker to see how we can do these things. And that's what's going on, we need to touch the ball more. I mean, we had 2 possessions in the third quarter. And it's not gonna be good for us, We need more possessions. We're a team that's wired. Play great defense, run the ball, be good on special teams. That's how we're wired. We have to do that. That's how it has to go for us. If it doesn't, our wiring's wrong. And then you put yourself in a position that you have to excel in some areas that maybe you don't excel at.
Steve, is there a certain time frame you have for Matt that, to be fully back and get carries? I mean, you think, is that part of the game plan, give him carries this week against Pitt?
I mean, I would love to, Keith, honestly. I have no control over it. That kid is as competitive and as tough and they say that most guys wouldn't even have done what he's done to this point. So I have no idea. We're trying. But, he's got a pretty good injury there, and like I said, I say most people probably would not have been seeing the light of the field in the last couple of weeks, so I don't know. I think this thing is going to be on him for a little bit. Is he going to play? Yeah, absolutely, but when will he be his old self? Your guess would be as good as mine.
So you really haven't had Harris and Brown both healthy at the same time?
No, hasn't happened. Thank God you got a couple guys, but I keep telling you, I think, Jamie Gilmore's looked really good. He got a few plays, he didn't get a bunch, but, you're in the kind of game you're in, you just, it's little by little with him too, but no, we haven't had that good fortune, to have them both firing at Penn State, we sort of played them both, but Montel was about 85% at Penn State, so it's the way it is. It's how you gotta go with the guys you got.
Not converting the 4th down, so you've had a problem with that, but short yardage is something, just not finding holes?
We had 2 issues. We fumbled the ball in the quarterback sneak.
Right, and you had the same problem in Connecticut.
We had 2.
Yeah.
We ran a play that, my call. We run our what we call hammer, and it's probably been one of our most effective plays. We scored a touchdown in the game. We went overtime, and last week we had a couple big hits against Rutgers with it, and that's what happens sometimes. We're maturing up front. When it's short yardage, you miss a block in there. It's hard. But if you're asking me, what do I think? I'm going to put the ball in the hand of the best player in the most critical situation. That's my opinion. You're not going to be right all the time, and people are going to say, "Well, I knew the ball was going to get run there." Well, zippity-doo-dah, and good for you. But I'm going to put the ball in the hand of the best football player that I can put it in at any given moment, as opposed to trying to scheme something up that isn't putting. I think that's worse sometimes. So. That's what we did. Didn't work out twice in Connecticut. We found a way to win the game. I probably didn't do that last week, right? I tried something different. Tried a quarterback sneak. Might have been my first one at Temple. Might not see one again. What else?
Steve, you said earlier, heading into week 7, you have a little bit of concerns, I guess, with a young team. What are some of those concerns? Talking about this stretch.
It's when you're dealing with young guys, it's just they don't know the grind. They think they're exhausted, It's not used to the grind. And then we have a compounding effect. We're not used to the quality of opponent in the grind. So, these are all the things we're talking about are what you guys know is, that's why, veteran teams, can close it out better than young teams can close it out, So that's where we are, and it's only going to make us better, though. It really is. I mean, it's going to make us better, and we're going to become a veteran team quicker because of all of it. But you're dealing with some freshmen now. They don't even know what it's like to get in school. School gets harder as the semester goes on. All of a sudden, the demands of the university academics are harder. and we're having academic meetings, and, we got all these assignments and papers, and it's all part of it. They're not used to all that all the way, so it's this compounding effect. And, but today, went out there, and there was some real cracking going on, so that's a good thing. And it's my job. I got to do a good job of, we had to come at them really hard early to try to get going a little quicker. Now we probably have to come off of it a little bit, because they probably won't be able to sustain this physically. So I probably got to bet. We did today. We backed it off a little bit. We still had a hard day, but the duration wasn't as long. I'm going to have to do a little bit more of that. And that's all. That's my job. That's the stuff I have to make judgment calls and feel on. And, sometimes, you're right, and sometimes you look back and maybe you weren't, but those are judgment deals, and I'm working at that right now.
When you say you're backing off a little bit, and sometimes a lot of coaches say, I can't be the only one getting the message across. You rely on your leaders, and you back off, and hopefully have some of the other players that are like the second coaches on the field. Who are those guys that get that done?
Well, I'll answer that. But when I say back off, I don't back off on the. I'm not backing off on the hitting that's going on out there.
No, not that.
Just duration.
Right.
That needs to be developed. I mean, that's Last year we had some really strong senior leadership, and we're trying to get that worked out right now. Where some more guys take more ownership. It needs to come from within a little bit. Sometimes when it's too much of the coaches, it's hard. So, guys that have to do those, or you're hoping your seniors can do it, your captains. If not, then some of your younger guys. We got some younger guys that got a lot of juice. So you just got to keep bringing that on.
Steve, is there any thought, I know like earlier when we talked about Newsome, you said that you still want him to learn as a quarterback. Is there any thought of like moving him to a different position?
It's hard, man. We tried a little bit. It's hard, it's just, it's not that easy just to go out, and it's not, backyard football, and so, and then when you do that, does that mean Roman Deloche or Sam or Benjamin or Khalif Urban, do they come off? I mean, so I think your best thing is to try to let Kevin keep developing as a quarterback. We've been this is the time, where all of a sudden, you have an injury at one of the quarterback positions, then you're right in the middle. Now you're down to two guys. One's in, you got one backup. So I think the mindset is steady in the boat.
But what's the biggest thing preventing him from like actually battling for the position?
At the quarterback spot, it's hard to battle three guys. That's the battle. The battle is there's only so many reps to get ready for a game. It's hard to get a number two guy ready. How do you get a number three guy ready? It's just the nature of the position. It's just very, very difficult. I don't have a good answer. You start rotating three guys all through practice, and the one guy's not getting all the reps that he needs to get ready to play a game. It's just unfortunate, so you try to get a lot of mental reps, and we try to do a good job of inserting Kevin in there too, but he doesn't have the same advantage right now. No question. He gets the least amount of reps. It's hard. I don't have an answer. It's just the way it is, and you just got to be steady in the boat. All of a sudden, we could come back for this press conference next week, and he could be the starter. We all know it. So I don't have any other simple or easy solution than that. I don't think anybody does really in the country, to be honest with you.
And we talked before about Chris. Well, what do you think the biggest, last year he came in and he kind of ignited the team. What do you think the biggest problem is now? Is he like thinking too mentally, trying to make too many things happen, as opposed to just going out there and playing?
Maybe. Could be. I think he's working real hard. The guy's really prepared each week. I give him a lot of credit. I think he really prepares well. He practices really hard. He's still really in his first year. He played a couple of games last year, and he's still a developing guy. And that's just the way it is. Sometimes you can, you want to see things happen right away, and they don't. But I can look you in the eye and tell you the guy's work ethic is phenomenal. His approach is fantastic, and he's done some really good things and some things that I know he's frustrated himself with. But he just got to keep firing, man. Got to be steady in the boat. If a guy's struggling too much, you put the next guy in, and that's the way that is. Whether it's your guard, your quarterback, you're a little less likely to do that at the quarterback position, but it might be your tailback. It's a lot of factors that go in here. When I have an opportunity to play juice, I need to play juice for a lot of reasons. Because the next, God forbid something happens, you don't want a guy to go in that's taking 0.0 snaps either. So, there's no great perfect answer to these things. You just kind of try to make your way as you're going. Nor do I want to start saying he plays the third series. Well, come on now. Then all of a sudden, the other guy's on fire. You're going to take him out. So It's no great answer. What else?
Coach,
Yes, sir.
last 3 games, freshman linebacker Tyler McAfish,
Yep.
10 tackles each game. Is
Yep.
he becoming a leader on this defense?
I think he has the potential to be a great leader, but he's a young freshman guy. It's sometimes hard for those guys to. He and Nate Smith. It's hard, you know. It's just how it is. I mean, a freshman doesn't want to come out here and try to act like they're the boss of the football team. So, but those are 2 guys that I think have a chance to be great leaders. You talk about. I watched the place I came from. There are a couple of linebackers they have right now are really playing well. They were young pups when I was there, and all of a sudden they're veteran guys, man, and they are the base of that thing right there, and that's what it is. One day, now we're going to have that here. We're going to have those 2 guys. They're going to be 2 seniors and 2 juniors, and they're going to be some strong, willful, tough leaders, and that's pretty cool. That's coming.
Let me ask you this, man, because it's easy to see that the future is going to be bright here with the young talent, but how hard is it? Because you don't want to keep focusing on the future.
No.
You know what I mean? So you have to go through these growing pains,
Yeah.
and is it one of those things? I mean, is it like a battle sometimes?
Nah.
Going back?
We're 3-3 right now. We got a great opportunity to go be 4-3.
Mhm.
That's how I look at it. That's why I think I said earlier. I was trying to say it all for those reasons exactly. I just look at it for what it is. Let's go play as hard as we can as a football team, and let's go. Let's go get us a win. Let's go get us a win on Saturday. Wouldn't that be great? We'll be 4-3, 3-1 in the Big East Conference. There's some tremendous stuff out there to be had. Just go play as hard as you can go and play. I don't want to get all that. It's all like that to me. Is all just stuff to me. Let's just go play. You got a big picture understanding what's going on, so you don't over frustrate yourself. But in the same breath, let's have fun. Let's play football. Let's play with great energy, great passion, and let's get better every week. And let's try to go get it here right now. And we can do it now. We're highly capable. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks, man.